Hi guys, my name's Johanna and I'm from Harcourts. Today I'm going to be talking to you about selling your property and what kind of things you should be spending your money on in terms of making it look the most appealing to the most amount of buyers. It can be a confusing time and a stressful time when you're thinking of selling, so hopefully some of these tips will make it a bit more smoother for you. So first of all, I'm going to suggest putting together a budget and, kind of making a list of what things you think you might want to do or need to do to the property, things that you look at when you are interested in a house or when you're going to open homes. For example, it might be, you really pay attention to whether or not it's really clean and all the skirting boards are freshly painted. It might be that you love having that kind of indoor-outdoor flow, and so when you go you look for decks or little courtyards. So thinking about things that might appeal to other people. Once you've done the budget and once you've made a little list, the next thing I would suggest is having a good look at the outside of your property and thinking to yourself, do we need to repaint? Is it looking a bit tired and old? Or could we just get it washed? And you can pay someone to do this, or you can do this yourself. You can get a special house washing brush, some special solution, and it's not as hard as you think it may be, but it gets rid of that grime, any kind of dirt from the road, and it just freshens it up without spending a whole lot of money on repainting. So have a look at that. Another thing, if it's wooden joinery, particularly around the windows, and it's maybe looking a bit chipped, I would definitely consider repainting those in a nice fresh bright colour, particularly just white, but that can just really make a difference and give the illusion that the whole property has been freshly painted. The next thing I would suggest is having a look at your grounds. So obviously going through and pulling out the weeds and chopping, giving your hedges or your trees, cutting them back and making them look nice and finished, maybe giving them some shape. If they're blocking views or sun, getting someone in, getting an arborist in to trim them up so you can let some more light in, because that's another thing that potential buyers love, is feeling that sun and that light coming through a property. So once you've done that, I would also look at colour. Do you have some flowers, even a few pots by the front door? Just really brighten up a space, particularly an entrance way, and can just make you feel, I want to go inside. What else is there? This is inviting. Okay, so like I said, you don't have to spend lots and lots of money to tidy up a place. So even if you're just washing the house and weeding, putting a couple of pots near the front door can look awesome. The next thing I would suggest, so we'll move inside, if you can afford to, is definitely repainting. So like I said, outside, if it's okay and it's not looking really worn, giving it a wash, but inside, a fresh coat of paint makes such a difference. It just lifts everything up. It feels clean, it feels fresh, and it feels new, which even if it's an old house, even if it has old features, fresh new paint or fresh neutral wallpaper feels fantastic. So I would definitely recommend spending money on that. Another thing which people often forget about is light fixtures. I am a total fan of light fixtures. Whenever I go into a house, it's the first thing I look at, which is not that common, but it does make a difference. You can get really cool contemporary modern kind of pendant light fixtures for around $100. You could put one in your kitchen, you could put one in your dining room, something different for your lounge. I'm not saying go and get different lights fixtures for every single bedroom, but just in some key places, some cool light fixtures. Nothing, not like a big chandelier or anything too that, I guess you've got to think of what's kind of simple, and people, it lifts it, it modernizes it without people going, oh, that's awful. Next thing, if we move into the bathroom. So, again, fresh paint. If it's tiled, that's fantastic. If it is dated and financially you can't afford to maybe put in a new shub or a shower, then I would definitely suggest just putting in a vanity, so where your basin is, and putting a new one in. You know, you can get them anywhere from 500 to a couple of grand, if not more, but you can definitely get a nice one on a budget. And even if it is quite a dated bathroom, a fresh coat of paint and a nice new vanity just really makes a difference, and people can say, wow, this looks good, this is tidy, we can live in here for a while, we can deal with this, and we'll fix it and make it, you know, how we want to. But it's a good start for people. The next thing I would suggest is if we move into the kitchen. So obviously the kitchen is kind of the hub of a home for many people, and it's a really personal thing. So I'll tell you a little story of some people who spent a lot of money and it turned out terribly. So some clients of ours wanted to sell their home. They're a lovely couple, older couple, probably in their early 70s, and they loved kitchens. You know, that was definitely the hub of their home. And they'd been there for a while and thought, okay, we need to modernize this, we need to make it look amazing and appealing to, you know, younger people who might want to buy this property. So they spent around $25,000, I think it was, completely gutting the kitchen and putting a brand new kitchen in. And it was a interesting choice. It was very modern, and they had really bright, I think like a bright maroony coloured splashback, and they had an awesome oven. I mean, I love the oven. But just, you know, it was the type of kitchen that you either loved or you hated. And as I said, they spent a lot of money. It was quite a stressful process, you know, dealing with different contractors who mucked them around a bit. And they kind of said, oh, thank goodness it's over once they'd finished. So anyway, they sold their property and they got a good price for it. They were, you know, they were happy with what they got. However, a few months down the track, so they'd moved into their new home and the buyers had moved into their old home, they were driving past their house. I think they said, oh, let's just do a little drive-by, you know, reminisce. And out on the driveway / lawn, there was parts of their old kitchen. So there were the bench top that had this quite funky coloured bespeckled bench top that was out on the lawn. Their splashback out on the lawn. Just the parts of the kitchen, you could tell they were gutting it to obviously put something else in. So later we find out that the new owners, hated the kitchen. The house was kind of a 1950s bungalow, and they just thought it did not suit the house at all, and so they were going to put something in, you know, which had a bit more of a traditional feel to it. So these poor people who spent all this money, all this effort, to then see it on the lawn, I think just really shows that, you know, everyone has really different tastes, and so you have to be careful when you have to think about this when planning on spending a large amount of money. So when it comes to the kitchen, I would suggest a new bench top, a simple bench top, whether it's steel, granite, marble, I'm sure if you could afford it, but a bench top without having to replace all the cupboards just lifts it, tidies it, makes it feel, this is nice, this is, you know, got a newish vibe. Another thing, if you have wooden cupboards and pantries, giving them a fresh coat of paint looks awesome, and putting new cupboard handles, little handles, you can get some cute different ones, some ones with little patterns on them, you know, you can be a bit quirky with those sorts of things, but again, you're not spending a fortune, but it's going to make a difference when someone walks into the kitchen and goes, oh nice, you know, yet there's room for them to put their stamp on the kitchen and make their mark on the property. So that's what I would suggest with the kitchen. Now flooring. So flooring, I often get asked, what do we do? The carpet, we haven't replaced it in 6 years. There's some stains, you know, it's okay, but we can't really afford to replace all the carpet, or we could if you think we really should, but we'd rather not. In that circumstance, I would say don't. Carpet, again, much like your kitchen, much like your bathroom, it's a personal choice. So getting it professionally cleaned, and then, you know, it looks okay, it looks tidy, but people can say, yep, that'll need to go when we move in, but it's not a major, it's not going to be a deal breaker for people in buying your home. So yeah, if you can't afford to replace the carpet, or you're really unsure, I would say leave it, because it is a personal thing and you don't want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to find that, you know, like the other people who spent all that money on the kitchen, next thing you know it's out in the lawn because they hate that type of texture, or, you know. So yeah, if you have polished floors, getting a good coating redone, so getting it polished, can really just freshen up a property, and again give it that kind of nice new feeling. So these are just a few tips, and things that we often suggest to our clients when they're looking at selling. Take on board what you want and disregard, you know, whatever isn't of use. But I just wish you all the best. At the end of the day, as long as it's clean, tidy, and you're presenting it, you know, the best way you can, you're going to get a great result. Awesome. Take care. Bye.